Hi everyone! So today I thought I'd just get out in the park. I'm just on my lunch break and hopefully people around here aren't going to think I'm absolutely insane talking to my phone. I'll just have to pretend like I'm on a phone call or something. So I'm just having a bit of apple juice, which is very nice, and I've just had a prawn sandwich for my lunch and some mango and some sort of antipasti skewer type things. So, eaten enough, just fancied something snacky and fresh, and didn't really want an old dried up sandwich that I try to bring to work on my quite often. So yeah, today I think I want to talk about eating disorders and how you might know that you have an eating disorder to start off with. So from my point of view, I think the main thing is kind of how you feel in yourself. If you are preoccupied with food, if you are finding yourself kind of constantly thinking about it, even when maybe you might not be hungry in your mind, or you can't stop counting calories, or I don't know what else, you're on some sort of strict meal plan and you're not feeling very good about it, or whatever, it tends to be in your gut how you feel about it. And if you feel like it's kind of wrong, or often it can kind of manifest in how you feel about your weight and your appearance. So if you think, I hate how I look all the time, and you're very, very focused on the mirror, your clothes size, something like that, that can be a sign as well that you might have an eating disorder. But by all means, it's not actually the true marker of it. Some people think, oh God, I'm too thin, not too fat. It can manifest in other ways, and not always around the body, is what I'm trying to say. So it is very much a mental thing, an eating disorder, where you sort of stress makes you fixate upon weight, body, how you look, what you're eating, particularly like you want to control every ounce of food that might go into your mouth, and yeah, essentially it just can take over your life. I'm sure if you are suffering from it, you might be feeling, what the hell is this? You feel really out of control around food. You might not necessarily know how to stop. You might be thinking, God, I just can't stop putting food in my mouth. All I'm doing is stuffing food down. I can't stop. I feel out of control around cake or certain types of food. There's so many different ways that it can come out in different behaviors. I think the key thing that ties it all together, for me at least, is stress. Are you distressed? Are your behaviors causing you pain? Are they unpleasant? And is it kind of primarily related around food, body and eating? Because if it is, then chances are you would have an eating disorder. And a lot of people come onto these guidelines, the Mini-Mord guidelines, that's actually the homodynamic recovery method now, and they sort of say, is it right to be eating all of this food? Is it for me? What if I don't have an eating disorder? What if I'm just eating these amounts? And what Gwyneth says, the woman who kind of created them, is these food guidelines, these minimums that we are all eating, these are normal amounts of food. Like, that's why they're called the minimums, because they are by no means enough to even recover. So after years of potential restricting the types of foods you eat, you can basically create a deficit, and chances are going to need so much more food than actually you're even eating, or that your natural eating counterparts might eat. When I first started this, I'm coming up to my 2-year anniversary. And when I first started this recovery method, I was eating probably 3.5, 4, 5,000 calories sometimes a day. And that's normal. That's really normal for somebody coming off an eating disorder to be eating, those amounts of foods. You need that much. Your body needs to have that baseline minimum to just run and maintain your body. But then it also needs all the extra thousands of calories to do all the damage and just to repair what you've lost, basically. You know, if you think about it, when you go on a diet, you lose, I don't know, muscle, you know, you lose skin, you lose, you know, you don't lose your skin, your skin doesn't come off, but what I mean is that the body is inhibited and hindered in terms of making and developing the cells that you need. So it's old cells that your body is sort of having to kind of cling on to. And so when you go through the recovery process, that's what your body is doing. It's shedding all the old dead cells and finally letting them get out of your system. So when people are concerned, what if is this recovery for me? Do I actually have an eating disorder? Am I supposed to actually be eating these amounts? My answer, and Gwyneth's answer, and the whole recovery method's answer is, don't worry about it, because if you're listening to your body truly, your body will know exactly what it is that you need and want to eat. You know, when I first started this, you know, the types of food that I was eating, it was kind of like cakes, sweets, biscuits, carbs, cheese, toasties, like all of those things that I had naturally restricted. And so I wanted them in vast quantities. You know, I remember when I first started recovery, I literally ran to the shop to try and go and get this toastie that I wanted, and I just was so excited, and I just felt like, oh my god, I'm just able to eat whatever I want, and literally the gloves are off, I'm going for this, I'm having it. And I think when you see that behavior with you know, suddenly allowing yourself to eat, it really does show how restrictive eating disorders make you, and how restricted I was, and essentially how madly and desperately in need of proper calories and nutrition that my body was. So it was just a joy, really, in the first few months of recovery, to be able to suddenly release the floodgates and just have whatever I wanted. Now, obviously, this did come at a price, you know, because, well, the restriction was the thing that caused, you know, the price, which was weight gain. You know, this really does vary as to who gains what weight. You know, some people might gain 3 pounds in recovery. I didn't, obviously. I gained over 100 pounds, and I think that is, you know, a case that I have seen a few times. You know, there have been big gainers, and it's what your body needs to do, basically. You need to be brave, and you need to accept that if you have been restricting, and if you have an eating disorder, then likelihood is that your body is not the weight that it should be, or it has been falsely maintaining a normal weight, which is kind of what was happening for me. I was never severely underweight or emaciated. I was always sort of looked fairly normal, even though I did yo-yo massively and obviously had periods of being thinner sometimes. But I think the main thing is that because of that restriction, that caused weight gain, and it will do, you know. You can't avoid that. But the answer is only to keep restricting and to keep maintaining a weight that is false for you, or a weight that may eventually be true for you, but you're maintaining it in a false way, or to go through recovery, to kind of go through. And I'm not saying it's easy, you know, it's obviously really difficult. I've had my own relapses and my own issues, and it's hard. It is hard, but you've got to do it. You've got to do it, because if you don't, the answer is to just carry on restricting, and to carry on not being able to just choose whatever you want to eat and it being okay. You know, we need to do it, basically. And if you think you have an eating disorder, if you've sort of got a painful relationship with food, if you are fixated on your weight and on your body, if you know, don't allow yourself to eat certain things, or if you over-exercise, you know, if you're in the gym every day, or, you know, if there's anything around these sort of habits that you have developed that you feel are causing you stress or pain, you know, I would urge you to seriously start upping your calories. You know, hit those minimums. That's going to be 2,500 minimum, depending on height and, you know, age and things like that. But, you know, it's really releasing the floodgates and letting your body eat as much as it wants. And you know, for some people, I know for my mum, for example, she can't eat as much as I do, so it is important to sort of check in and have a look at the calories that you're eating, because it might be that your body sort of maintains a bit of a falsehood in how hungry it thinks it is, or how hungry you think you are, and it's actually just because your body has been sort of starved for so long that you are used to eating tiny amounts, and you really need to wake up your metabolism. You need to wake up your body and, you know, just start feeding it enough food, because it's so good when you start to feed it enough. You know, things start to happen, and I'll kind of talk through this in videos to come, but you know, there's so many symptoms. It's quite fascinating actually, because you know, your body just comes alive. You know, look, my hair has like never grown so fast as it is doing now. My nails never used to be this long. My skin, I get sort of rashy patches at the moment. It goes a bit red because, you know, you get sort of an influx of hormones and things like that, and I'll talk about this in detail later. But I think the point is that if you think that you are recovering, that you are in an eating disorder, if you think that you are suffering from this, if you think that anybody else you know is suffering from this, you know, I think the important thing is to sort of realise that recovery doesn't come in the form of gym gear, and it doesn't come in the form of healthy food only, and you know, it really is about letting go and releasing the floodgates. And it's scary and it's hard, but afterwards your body is used to processing normal amounts of food. Your weight gain will stop and eventually come down to a size that is right for you. You know, all of these things will happen, but the important thing is to start, and to start soon, because the longer that you're in recovery, the longer that you're in, you know, the throes of your eating disorder, you will get more cumulative damage basically, and that's what we're trying to avoid, because the longer that you're in starvation, the more time that you will, the more damage you'll do basically to your body and to, you know, to every aspect of your body essentially. And that's kind of what refeeding does. It sort of fixes the parts of your body that have been damaged during recovery, and you know, the things that your body hasn't been able to do during restriction. So you know, it could be reproductive system, for example. You know, I don't know the statistics, and I should know, and I will know eventually, but you know, one of the main causes of infertility in women is actually restriction in diets, and you know, that's a huge thing. And there's been so many women on the forums who have said, God, I couldn't get pregnant, and then as soon as I started trying to eat more, I started trying to eat more in the restriction, you know, the recovery guidelines, I got pregnant. And it's like, that is scary. That is really, really scary, that these diets and, you know, the things that we're being told in society and the media that it's okay to do and healthy to do is actually causing our bodies to not work. So God, I'm actually really red, just it's so hot out here. So yeah, I would just urge you to kind of have a think about, are you suffering from an eating disorder? In your heart, you know, I think you would know, do you need help? Because if you need help, then I'm here to kind of talk you through and take you through my recovery. There's the recovery guidelines and the forums that I can link down to below. There are, you know, different support groups available. Like there's a Facebook group that we join, which is fantastic, which is run by one of the sort of longer standing members, and there are support systems there for you if you feel that you are suffering from an eating disorder basically. And I just wanted to kind of clarify what that looks like, what it feels like, and you know, the importance of starting recovery basically today. So I'll put all the links below down so you can have a look, but otherwise I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.